listening to the Signalman Show on the Brother IBRO. I'm your host, Josh Irving. One of my favorite things about doing radio is when ridiculously talented people call me up and say, hey, will you consider my music? Like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm just so honored to present to you this next artist, Christy Lene. She is the 2017 International Fingerstyle Guitar Champion. She's on tour right now. She's playing with Andy McKee down in Florida. All you guitar heads out there will know his song Drifting on YouTube, the one where he hits his guitar and does all those cool things. I'm waving my arms around right now. You really can't see this on the radio, but you know, it's a... That's my impression of it. That's my air guitar thing of Andy McKee. And she does this too, and she's just magnificent. And not only is she this monster guitar player, but she's a really good songwriter, a really good singer too. And she's coming to Richmond this Friday. And I want to get the details all set. She's coming to the Tin Pan this Friday, the 22nd. I believe it's at 8 p.m., but we're going to verify that, and we're going to get all this information for you. And I want to play you two of her tracks so you can just be amazed as I was by this artistry. So we're going to hear Breath of Spring, which is, I think, an especially appropriate one this year. The Acoustic Guitar Magazine premiered this video a little while ago, and I believe she's in the May issue of Guitar Player. So, man, just so excited to play this for her. I'm a fanboy. Here we go, Breath of Spring on WDCE. If I hit my buttons right, let's see. That is a big if. There we go. There we go. Enjoy. First, I wanted to share with you this week's idea that's been rattling around in my brain, a little podcast segment. And I've been wrestling with some stuff, and hopefully in my wrestling that will assist your wrestling, because hopefully we're all working on something, right? So I've been trying to dramatically reinvent myself and tear it all down to the foundations and burn it off and saying, what am I doing? What the heck am I doing? That's really the question, right? But ask that at a very, very deep level. And so I did that for about a month, and I was writing out all sorts of graphs, and there's papers all over my house, and taking walks and waving my arms around, and you don't want to be my neighbor. Let's just put it that way. I'm the neighborhood weirdo. Finally thought I had figured something out. I said, aha, this is it. And I ran it by a couple of people I know, and was, sort of did the pitch, for lack of a better word, but explained what I was doing, and it seemed to pass the test, and I think it's nice to be able to explain what you're doing to somebody else and not freak out. And if you freak out, you need to readjust it, right? So I didn't freak out. Everything was good. Everything was working good. I'm like, I'm on my path. I'm on my track. And then I simply walked down the street and the whole thing fell apart. Seriously, I saw a brass band playing in DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C. I'm from the D.C. area. And that was a semi-religious experience. And I'm like, well, how does that personal... It's hard to explain, but they handed me basically a piece of a puzzle that didn't fit in with the puzzle that I had done. And it was moreover, it didn't fit. It was one that had to fit. And I said, uh-oh, I got to tear this whole thing apart. And then I walked to my car and checked Instagram, and there was another piece of the puzzle that I had missed too. And the whole thing just blew up in my face. But hey, isn't that how it goes sometimes? It reminded me when I was a kid, and this is a story I like to tell my guitar students all the time. When I was a kid, I decided to build a go-kart one day. And it was one that didn't have an engine on it. It was just going to go down a little bit of hill near the house. So I built this thing, and it looked sort of like a rolling praying mantis. It was tall and spindly, and it had a 2x4 with these two little wheels up front, and a 2x4 with two little wheels in the back, and then 2x4s going up towards the sky, and then a cross beam. So you were sitting about 2.5 feet off the ground, and nailed this whole thing together. And it went down the hill, and it immediately fell apart, much to my chagrin. And I was like, oh no, my go-kart broke, and I was in tears. And my dad said, well, no, we just got to take it back to the shop and modify it and build it again. So we did. We made it so it didn't look like a praying mantis anymore, and Dad found some old baby carriage wheels on the side of the road. He was taking a bike ride, and he found these old baby carriage wheels, and we put that on. And I think that's sort of metaphorical. People can be walking along, people that you know and respect, and they can find something for you in their journey too. And we put it on, and it worked a lot better. And and now I work on cars. So the go-kart had progressed, and I am hoping this is what's going to happen with what I'm wrestling with, but the praying mantis totally fell apart when I took it down the hill. So I don't know. Maybe this is just how it goes. So beware of those go-karts, but actually I guess we can embrace those go-karts and say, hey, that's how we learn. Now we're going to turn to the blues portion of our program, and we're going to kick it off with some Howlin' Wolf with Smokestack Lightning here on WDCE. I'm your host, Josh Urban, sharing with you some zany thoughts on a Monday. Make your Monday a little bit better. That's what I'm trying to do. Shoot me a text if you have a thought.